Today I wanted to talk about my favorite places for zombies. I know, another video about zombies. I have a problem with them. I like them, and why shouldn't I? Thralls suck now. Zombies come out leveled, and they're extremely easy to get. So I thought I would share a couple of my favorite places. Maybe if you're new to Magic, maybe if you were curious, whatever the reason may be. I'm just making a little guide, put out some information out there. I'm sure many of you are already aware of these locations. And of course, the first one is the volcano. The volcano is always going to be my favorite place on Exiled lands for zombies. It just is. But my second runner up, of course, is going to be Relic Hunters. And that's going to be in the cellar behind the bar in the city. If you don't know where this is, which I'm sure 90% of you do, or have already Googled it and looked it up, even if you're new to the game, but if you want to look at the map right where I am, it's not hard to find. I don't feel like I need to. This isn't Care Bear. But anyways, getting past that, there's plenty down here. I'm not a big fan of the archers, but you know, if I come down here, they usually get knocked out, so I usually will transport them out and turn them into a zombie, because why not? Any zombie's better than nothing. I can leave it at base. I might even take it out with me. They still get work done. And since that new update just came out today, that the day as I'm making this video, you can still put armor on them and weapons. There you go. Before we continue, I wanted to talk about the mini boss right here. It does drop a heart of the hero, which is food for the zombies. I don't think it's the most effective way to feed your zombies because you'd have to farm these, and the zombies will eat them on occasion rather than just using them until they decay, as you can see here on screen. I like to go with Brimstone. Brimstone's cheap, it's easy to get. With the 4x rates on official, a stack of Brimstone usually lasts me until they decay. So I would just suggest going with Brimstone. If you got a bunch of hearts lying around that you don't know what to do with, Heart of the Hero, of course, feel free to use them on your zombies if you want to. But me personally, I would say just go with Brimstone. It's just easier. So now we're going to transition back to the volcano. We are at the obelisk. This is where you would teleport in from. And as you can see, there's fighters all over the place. Yeah, there's some archers. If you want to knock them out, great. Yeah, I would just suggest killing them. But like I said, to me personally, there's no such thing as a bad zombie. And since they do decay, they won't take up a slot forever. Now, there are a lot of different factions up here, and I'm going to discuss a couple of my favorite. Of course, there's nothing wrong with going for named, but I would advise you to go for others as well. Don't just worry about named. To me personally, named, I'd rather break them and put them in a box and just have them ready to go, something that I can place, because at the end of the day, having leveled thralls in your base are still nice, and it's still going to benefit you long term versus zombies. But if you crank out, if you want to break multiple thralls in a day, then you can have zombies on standby all the time, which is always nice to have, and you can craft them as you need them once they're broken. But my favorite one is going to be the Devotee. It's a tier 1 fighter, but the rolls that it gets, the ease of the ability to knock it out, and even if you wanted to just throw it on a wheel to have it for reserve, a reserve zombie, you can do that as well. And of course, it's going to go faster because it's considered to be a tier 1 fighter. So right now, I'm going to show you the possibilities it can get with the Elixir of Rebirth. Now, I will say this, and I know it might be tempting. I know it might be tempting, but personally, in my opinion, if you want to take my advice at all, I would suggest not wasting your Elixir of Rebirth on a zombie. Just don't. Use them for the thralls that you have put work and time into. Thralls that you've had to take hours to level up. Use your elixir of rebirth on those to get the best roll. That's just my warning. That's just something that I recommend. I don't think there's any point in using them on something that decays. If you're on a private server and you've got thousands of them, go for it, because on most private servers, they do not decay. The private server I usually play on, I had my zombies the whole wipe, and I did use Elixir of Rebirth on them because why not? I want them to have the best stats. But right here, I just wanted to show you the potential that you could get or could not get from it. And this, of course, is the devotee, and I am spec'd into authority, which is why I had it stop following me so you could see the health that it actually has if I'm not in an authority build. But I know a lot of you like messing around with authority, and it is really nice. I like having an authority build usually when I go farming. I like having 3 zombies, and of course, I like to put katanas on them. I usually don't put armor on them unless I have crappy armor lying around. Why not? The other one that I did want to show is another one of my favorites is the Hyborian Fighter 3. They get good rolls, and this is what I really like about the volcano is it has all different sorts of thralls up here with the factions, but they all get good health. I usually don't pass any of them up, and I have no problem converting them, and I would suggest you do the same. If you're on a server, like a private server, where you have the ability to quickly tame them, go for it. Just store them in a box. And if you don't want to turn them into a zombie, just get rid of them. Or I guess you could use them, but personally, I would rather use named fighters for a thrall and tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 devotees and relic hunters and stuff like that for zombies. That's just me personally. But as you can see, the rolls that it can get aren't bad. So there's no reason to pass them up. I've seen a lot of people just going for named and turning them into zombies, but to me personally, I don't think that's the way to go. I could be wrong, but from my testing and my playtime and experience with them, that's just my opinion. We're going to go back to one of the first clips you saw in the video. What I was showing you in the beginning of the video was all relic hunters. It is a combination of archers and fighters. Fighters, to me personally, always seem to get the better health, the better end of health anyways. But like I said, if an archer gets knocked out, I have no problem taking it to the grave and just letting them, be there. I'll use them, when I go farming and stuff like that. Since I can have 3, I don't care if they die. I usually, like I said, slap a katana on them because katanas are cheap and I've got plenty of stuff to craft katanas. And they hit like a truck. With that new patch, I thought this would get fixed. Now I'm starting to wonder if, 1, this is something Funcom actually wants to implement, which I doubt. It just wouldn't make any sense. Or 2, they just don't know how to fix it. But right here we have a named thrall, of course, we all know, and I wanted to show you the roles that it can get and why personally I like to just go for maybe a tier 3 or a devotee or a relic hunter. It's just, they do spawn more at the volcano, the named thralls. So if you want to, go for it. They can get great rolls, so why not? I go through about 25 potions on each of them just to show you some of the potential and possibilities that they may get. And then if you have authority and you have 20 plus going into their attributes and you have 3 of these following you, you can just imagine how annoying they will be. And if you put a katana on them, they'll kill just about everything. And they're nice to have. It's always a nice deterrent. People usually don't want to mess with me when I'm in a farm build because of 3 zombies, which is kind of nice. Because I'll just send my zombies after them while I run. Or I'll go fight them. Depending on my mood. If I'm just in a farm mood, then I just run. But usually I'll fight you even if I'm encumbered. I don't care. Now, if you're using the mounds for your zombies, I did make a video when I was testing some zombies when they first came out. I did think thralls you could get from the mounds were, top tier. Sometimes you can get good rolls with them, but I kind of just stick to the volcano and relic hunters now because I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to get at this point, and it's just more reliable. Of course, I'm going to roll it with rebirth just to show you the possibilities of this. And it's not terrible. It's not a bad zombie to have by any means. It can still help you. It can still be great for farming and doing dungeons and stuff like that, especially if you put a weapon on them. And go ahead, put a weapon on them while you can. It's kind of fun and amusing to give your zombies armor and weapons. Now, I would like to say, when the server does restart, I have noticed that the armor and weapons may reset. Sometimes the armor doesn't, but the weapons usually reset and they'll end up with the bag in their inventory again. Another little tip for you, if you want them to use the weapon all the time, just keep pulling the bag out of the weapon slot in the zombie. This is easy to do when they're aggroed on something. You can just hold shift and keep clicking until all the bags are gone. They'll start punching with their fist, put your weapon in there, and then they'll always attack with the weapon. But if the server does restart, they're most likely going to lose their weapon, and then you're going to have to repeat the process. So if your weapons are valuable to you and you don't have extra to throw around, I suggest taking them out before a server restart. But if the server randomly or magically crashes, there's really nothing you can do about that. But that's pretty much it for my video. Just, some things that I like and thought I would share with you. A couple of my favorite locations of where I like to get my zombies, maybe if you were curious. But if any of this information was helpful, useful, interesting, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment if you have questions and concerns. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. But I'll see you in the next one.